of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. I believe everybody has intuition. So on tonight's episode, we are talking about a different divination system to the tarot. Yes, I know I just did the intro that I am a tarot reader, a professional tarot reader, but just because I'm a professional tarot reader doesn't mean that we don't talk about different divination systems in this series of episodes. We talk about pretty much, can you mute that? Okay. Sorry about that. Just because I'm a tarot reader doesn't mean that we only talk about tarot exclusively. No, we talk about different divination systems and we talk about different metaphysical topics, such as tonight we're talking about divination, Lenormand. We have spoken in the past about charm casting, oracle decks, looking out for omens and synchronicities in your everyday life, magic, charming tarot cards, you name it, we talk about it. And I'm always open to the episode ideas and topic ideas that you guys want me to talk about as well. So I've been doing this for, I think, over 2 years now, or almost 2 years now. I believe in August will be the 2-year anniversary of me going live every week and doing these episodes. So we have a pretty loyal viewership who are very vocal about what they want to learn about, what they want to hear about. So thank you to everyone that tunes in regularly. I appreciate it because I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So before we get too far into the episode, let me do a quick tech check to make sure that everything is copacetic and running to the different streams. We do have, hold on a second here. I hope that it's not blocked. No. Hopefully that's working. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I don't have to do that all over again. Let me just double and triple check. Hold on 1 second here. Let me make sure. All right. Everything seems to be working. For a second there, I thought that my pop-up blocker might have interrupted us. So let me double check. No, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. All right, let me close out any windows that I'm not active in right now so that I can focus my attention. Okay, so sorry about that, everybody. But it does look like that we're recording and we're good. So anyway, so tech check done. So like I was saying before, the topic of tonight's episode is the Lenormand, or as we called it in the latest episode of the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast that I do with Melissa Sanova and Jamie Elford. This time around, we had a special guest host. We called it the Dirty 36 because our special guest host, V, gave that nickname to it. So that's what we're calling it. Lenormand, or the Dirty 36. Other people do call it, I'm going to try and pronounce it the other way. I can't do it. I can't do it any other way. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but our newest episode of the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast, episode 36. Yes, that was intentional, on the Dirty 36 of Lenormand, which we will be discussing tonight. But before that, We're going to do a little bit of astrology for you based on Teresa Reed's AstroBiz Digest. Then we'll get into the topic of Lenormand, and then we will end the week with the weekend forecast, which is either a tarot card or an oracle card that I pull for the collective to guide you into the weekend. So some people have been coming in live, so let me go ahead and say hello to people. Sophia is here. Hello and welcome, Sophia. And Katie is also here. Hello and welcome, Katie. Nice to see the both of you. And please, of course, if you happen to be tuning in live to these episodes, please feel free to drop your name where you're tuning in from in the chat. And also, if you're a first-time viewer or if you're a regular viewer, I do know that Katie is a regular viewer and has helped with Spammer Patrol. In the past, hopefully crossing our fingers and toes that we don't have that problem tonight. Let me pull in my tray a little bit closer and let us start with the astrology for the weekend for today, tomorrow, and Sunday based on Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest, which is a yearly subscription that she offers for, I think, $99 a year. And trust me, that is a steal. But I usually will cite her work and then just give you a taste of what she does. And then if you like what you're hearing and you want more from her, you can go ahead and purchase the AstroBiz Digest for yourself. Because I am not an astrologer. I am primarily a tarot reader. Astrology is not my forte. I know just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to teach it and not enough to do natal charts for other people. So I leave it to the experts. So let me show you the AstroBiz Digest, and that should propagate some links for wherever you're tuning in from. I'm not going live on Instagram tonight for this, only because it's just too much technology, guys. It's just too much technology. I can't deal with, the 3 streams. I think the 2 streams is more than enough for right now. And if I can keep the broadcast to under an hour, then I will upload it to IGTV. Because as I've said before in previous episodes, if your video is longer than an hour, IGTV, you can't upload it to IGTV afterwards. So that's the reason why I was doing the stream over Instagram Live separately, so that I could record as long as I wanted to, or as long as the workshops happen. But it was just too many screens all at once. So forgive me for my lack of being able to look 5 different ways all at once. Maybe I'll get to that point with cameras and being able to turn this way, camera 1, camera 2, but I'm not there yet. So unless I have a separate producer all my own, which, may happen eventually, but as of right now, it's a 1-woman operation. So anyway, astrology from the AstroBiz Digest. Here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready for the astrology? Because it was a mixed bag this week, astrologically. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Katie. I like that idea. Maybe share the YouTube link in an IG post later. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If it's longer than an hour. If it's shorter than an hour, I'll upload it. If it's longer than an hour, I'll share the link. Good idea. I'll try to remember that afterwards. Or I can just rewatch the video, right? Sophia says woo. So I'm assuming that is a yes to let's get down with the astrology. So astrologically, it's been kind of a mixed bag this week, and people are really, really in their feelings. This is just something that I've observed. I've not opened up the AstroBiz Digest yet, but I believe it is because we have a new moon in Cancer tonight. So because the new moon is in Cancer, people are feeling very, very sensitive, very in their feelings. So tread carefully. That is my own caveat. Let's get into what Teresa has to say for the AstroBiz Digest. So let's see. Friday, and all of these times are Eastern Standard Time. Friday, the morning is uneventful in the cosmos, so take care of work already in motion and yourself. Big ups to self-care over the next couple of days. People are extra emo all day, which could make some conversations feel a bit delicate. 1:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time could be super sweet for an online promotion when the moon sextiles Uranus. A funny meme could lighten the mood if the vibe is tense. The new moon will be present at 9:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow the info above the scopes to learn more. So I'm going to go ahead and read you that. So glorious new moon in Cancer, the perfect lunation for creating divine order in your home office, because Cancers do tend to be homebodies, very home and hearth centered. If it's been a minute since you've done a full-on cleaning and declutter, this is a fabulous day to roll up your sleeves and channel Marie Kondo, or if Marie Kondo is not your style, another home organization person. Also, do not forget to set your new moon intentions. The new moon in Cancer is ideal for intentions around security, home, and family. And Teresa also gives a recommendation on how to set affirmations and intentions. She recommends New Moon Astrology by Jan Spiller, which is her favorite resource for effective intention setting around the new moon. So that is new moon in Cancer. And we'll get to Mercury in Cancer on Sunday as well. So first things first, let's get through Friday, right? Set your intentions and trust that magic is on the way. Today, Friday, is a power day for Cancer and a weak day for Capricorn. Everyone got that? Good so far? Hydration break or soda break for me, very important. So, yeah. Couple signs, couple planets or planetary motion in Cancer this weekend. People are in their feelings. Okay, Sophia is saying, all good. Okay. Sophia, did you switch over to Facebook? Because I just saw YouTube and then Facebook. Let me know if the streams in either place are a bit wonky, because I won't know otherwise, because I'm working in my third-party app. So let me know. If there was a reason for jumping over, I'm going to need to address that after the broadcast and probably re-upload. Sometimes that's been happening. It's been very strange. Anyway, Saturday, dream up new ideas when Saturday's Moon-Neptune trine arrives at 7:11 a.m. or sleep in. Keep the pace slow in the afternoon when the moon opposes Pluto and stations void at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Folks are crabby all afternoon and probably not in the mood to buy. So again, the AstroBiz Digest does have a tendency towards entrepreneurs and business people, but I also find it to be very helpful in my own personal life as well. So if it tends to be salesy or marketing-y, go ahead and tweak that language that I'm saying in your mind so that you get the astrology that you need. At 8:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the vibe becomes extra passionate when the moon blitzes into Leo. Saturday evening and Sunday are heavenly for bold PR campaigns, exciting presentations, and flashy marketing. Don't hold back, roar like the lion in Leo. Sunday afternoon finds Mercury in Cancer at 4:35 p.m., and that is apparently an interesting transit. Let's take a look at that. Communication needs to be thoughtful when Mercury floats into sentimental Cancer on the 11th, again, a Sunday, at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Clients want to feel loved and appreciated, so send out handwritten letters, share personal stories, and give your VIPs access to exclusive deals. You may encounter a few demanding types, but a little TLC could go a long way to calming fires. And Mercury will move into Leo on the 27th. So you do have time to utilize that energy. It's not just happening at 4:35. You can continue to work with that energy until the 27th when Mercury moves from Cancer into Leo. All right. The evening puts the moon at odds with Saturn and Uranus. Shut the shop down, and then again, this is Sunday evening, and do something nice for yourself instead. You deserve a treat or two. Saturday is a power day for Cancer and a weekday for Capricorn, and Sunday is a power day for Leo and a weekday for Aquarius. So, knowing that and having the knowledge of what's coming up or what came up today and what's coming up this weekend, take a look at how your week has gone so far. If there was a particular day or time that you found it to be a little bit hinky, a little bit weird, and you're wondering, was there any astrological impact on that, any reason in the stars for that, go ahead and drop it into the chat and let me know, like, yeah, my Monday was a little bit weird. Could you tell me more about what was going on astrologically? Totally open to doing that for you guys before we move on to talking about the Lenormand. Okay, cool. Oh, good. Great. So Sophia says, yes, both are fine. Just popped over to see more people. Yeah. I mean, like, I mean, that's what Facebook's built for, right? That social element. But I like broadcasting to both places. So it reaches more people. And also I don't have to then go into Facebook to download the video, to upload the video in separately to YouTube. So the whole simulcasting has been kind of a time saver for me, if you will. But sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes the feed cuts out like 15 minutes into the broadcast when I broadcast it for like an hour and a half. So I end up having to download and then upload to YouTube anyway. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time around, but we'll see. So any dates that you want me to look at astrologically before we move on to that dirty 36 of the Lenormand? And while I'm waiting, I'm going to put up the widget and I'm going to grab my Lenormand deck because I just realized I started the broadcast and I don't have my Lenormand deck to my hands right now. So let me do the countdown widget. Let's give it a couple of minutes. And we can stop the timer if people are ready to move on to Lenormand. Let me grab my deck. Got it. Let me grab a pillow as well. All right, I'm hearing an I'm all good. Katie, I know that sometimes you will say, yeah, Tuesday was weird. What was up with that? So just let me know. My Tuesday was a little bit weird. So let me look back at that and see what was going on there. Ah. Teresa starts with Tuesday. This is a funky day in the cosmos. Okay. That would be why. Mercury square Neptune, confusing aspect that puts a fog over the whole day. Ground as much as possible. Pay close attention to all communication. People are unclear or you might be misunderstood. Don't negotiate any significant deals today. Yeah. And then things started to clear up. Moon, Venus, sextile at 9:41 p.m. So, yeah. Fun. Okay, that was the Mercury squared Neptune. Good to know. Okay, I don't know, Katie. I must be psychic, right? Tuesday evening was weird. LOL. Yep. Okay, so let's look at Tuesday evening. Like I was saying before. So yeah, it was that whole day was the fog of Mercury square Neptune starting at 3:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that energy was up until 9:41 p.m. Moon Venus sextile. And that's about fantastic for creative writing, muses or whatever. And then Venus moved into opposition with Saturn at 11:33 p.m., which creates business slowdowns, unexpected expensive, high maintenance clients. So this is the reason why Teresa was saying funky day in the cosmos. It's like the lowest lows, the highest highs. So there you go. That's the explanation. And I bet a lot of things have been funky lately. You know, I feel like we had, so Mercury was in retrograde and we came out of that, but we were still in the shadow period up until I think like July 1st, maybe a little bit past that. We were still in the shadow period. So it was just really weird, you know, just communication was weird. People I knew kept on having these weird accidents and like really like silly, you know, silly, not like careless almost, where it was just like I just wasn't thinking and I stepped in a hole and I broke my ankle. Like those kind of scenarios I kept on hearing about, and I'm just like, what is with that? I feel like it was just the lingering Mercury retrograde energy, because again, I'm not an astrologer, but I've seen it enough to be like, is that related to Mercury retrograde, like silly accidents or mishaps or like stubbing your toe or spraining your ankle? Because I've just seen it too many times to not think that it's more than a coincidence. So Katie is saying expenses, that happened. Well, there you go. Teresa must be psychic too. And that's why we do the astro weather. Sometimes it can, you know, warn us ahead of time, and sometimes it can help us make sense of past situations. So I hope that helps you guys. And if you like what I have to say about the AstroBiz Digest and you want more from Teresa Reed, that link should be in both streams. AstroBiz Digest, thetarotlady.com/Astro Biz Digest with hyphens in between, or you can just go to thetarotlady.com. And it's pretty easily found in her top navigation. So that's the astro weather. We always start every episode with some astrology, and now we move into the topic that I'm teaching. So tonight's episode is about the Dirty 36, aka Lenormand. Now, Lenormand is a completely different divination system to the tarot. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Sometimes you're better off learning Lenormand before learning tarot, or having it be two separate brain portions of your brain, because Lenormand is so different and so specific and so based on the question. And tarot is very much about motivation, and sometimes the tarot will want to talk about money when the client asked about love, and then you get like the 10 of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles, and you're just like, oh well, but the tarot wants to talk to you about your finances or your career, and that seems to be like what's really important right now. So it's like, as a professional tarot reader, sometimes I get put in I guess a strange position where my clients are asking me questions about their love life, and then I have to be like, well, but here's what the tarot was saying that you need to focus on right now. So it's not that I don't want to answer those questions about the love life. Sometimes the tarot, it's almost like an entity to itself, and I gotta go where the tarot is telling me to go. And usually there's a very good reason why we go there, because sometimes, the love of their life, they meet through work, or or they need to change jobs, and that's when the money happens and they're not worried about the money anymore, so then they can make room for the romance that seems to have been lacking at that point. So does that make sense to people, that that tarot will sometimes bring up stuff that, you know, the client's not asking about, but it ends up making a lot of sense? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Now, for Lenormand, you don't really do that, and you focus more on the question, and it tends to be very point blank, very specific, and always going back to the question. And the reason why I say this is, for tarot, you can get a lot of information out of one tarot card, because there's so many symbols that might be jumping out at you in one individual card, as opposed to the Lenormand, where you really can't do a one card reading with Lenormand, because they are meant to be read in combination with each other in order to form a whole sentence, which is the reading. And Katie is saying, yeah, tarot does that often. Which, I mean, I love tarot, and don't get me wrong, like, please, my tarot cards are going to come after me after this broadcast. But, you know, I love that about the tarot, that sometimes it tells us what we need to hear or what we need to focus on, and not necessarily what we want to hear or what we want to focus on. But Lenormand too can be like that. In fact, very often it's yes or no. You know, like is the job going to be lucrative? Is the sex going to be good? That's like kind of the difference between tarot and Lenormand. Is tarot is very good at establishing like underlying motivations and feelings and thoughts and emotions, but Lenormand is going to tell you what's what. So let me pull up the list of Lenormand cards. So the differences, the very factual differences between tarot and Lenormand. Tarot is 78 cards. And follows a specific structure. So like, you're always going to have a major arcana. You're always going to have a minor arcana. You're always going to have 4 suits in that minor arcana. You're always going to have the Fool card, the Death card, the World card, the King of Swords, the Knight of Wands. It may look a little bit different. There might be a different artistic theme, but they're all tarot decks as long as they follow that tarot structure. For Lenormand, there's 36 cards, and that's the reason why I was referring to it as the Dirty 36 before, and you'll hear that in our latest episode of the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast. In fact, let me drop that into the chat right now as one of the resources. Don't go there right now, though. Stay on me. Wait. You can wait until the end of the episode. But I will show you that link. So it's cardslingerscc.podbean.com. And that is the specific episode link, so that you can get the show notes to different people that we recommend learning Lenormand from, or different resources or books that you can look into Lenormand in more depth, because my intention of these Friday night shows is not tell you everything about the topic and be the be all end all on the topic, but just give you enough information so that if you're interested in it, you can do some of your own research, and delve as deep and as pruny as you would like to go into that topic. So, and also the podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. I think we're on most podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor. We're all over the place. Cardslingers Coast to Coast. So there you go. So the Dirty 36. Lenormand is 36 cards, and I'm going to show you what they are right now. Let me take away my overlay while it's pretty. It'll block out this list that I wanted to show you. So the Lenormand cards, there are 36 cards, starting with number 1, the Rider, and ending with number 36, the Cross. And in between the Rider and the Cross, you have different keywords there, different words there. And normally what happens in a Lenormand deck, and this is a little bit of a source of controversy, you'll have like rider, you'll have a rider on a horse. Clover, you will have a clover. Ship, you will have a ship. House, you'll have a house. And the symbol on there, like no matter how pretty the symbol is, or no matter what additional symbols are on the card, you are reading that card in conjunction with the other cards, and that is all you're doing. The symbols have nothing to do, like the way I would read tarot, sometimes my focus would be on, for example, the Hierophant card. I might be noticing the keys, the crossed keys at the Hierophant's feet, and I might have an intuitive association with that. Here in the Lenormand, doesn't matter what's appearing on the fox card. You're reading the fox card in conjunction with the fox and the bear and the stars in order to have a full sentence. So it's almost as if like some of these cards are the verb, the object, the adverb, the noun, and you're reading a full sentence. So Sophia, would it be possible to have a future episode on how to begin a podcast? My tarot book club has been dying to start one. Very interesting question. Let me add that to my list of possible topics, and I will get back to you on that. That might also be a question that we will answer, not necessarily in this Friday night workshop, but we might answer it on an episode of the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast, and have it be a podcast episode. How do you start a podcast? How do you begin a podcast? Because I didn't start out necessarily wanting to do a podcast, but Melissa Sonova is the one that brought us together to start the podcast. And then we turned it into a tarot conference. And, you know, this will be the 3rd year of that tarot conference. So I don't know. Sometimes you get together to start a podcast and then you end up doing something different, like, you know, creating a tarot conference in St. Louis. But yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind. And you're very welcome. So, and I do want to go back and use this example, the newest Cardslinger Coast to Coast podcast episode, as, you know, another resource that you can go to if you're interested in learning more about the Lenormand, because in that episode, it's Jamie and I who are regular hosts of the podcast. Melissa is still dealing with some, not necessarily some health issue, but, you know, like energetic resourcing and everything. And we do also want to feature some of the teachers that are going to be at the upcoming kitchen table gathering, which is kind of the conference that I was just referring to. So V from Red Light Readings is one of the teachers that are going to be teaching at that conference. So we are going to be highlighting the different teachers of that conference as guest hosts, rotating guest hosts in the podcast. So V from Red Light Readings teaches Lenormand, and she has become, and you'll hear this in the podcast episode, divilingual, in which she can read tarot and she can also read Lenormand, and she can easily switch between the two, but it does take work because if, as you're seeing in this list, there we go. I am not going to be a good weather person because I can never do that switcheroo thing. So over here on this list, you know, there are some common words here that you might think are the same as the tarot deck, and they are not the same. They're not read in the same way. Like, for example, number 19, the Tower. That is not a bad card. in the Lenormand. That is actually, the tower means structure or institutions, could be a school, could be this, you know, so there are different keywords that would be associated with that, but it would not mean the same thing as the tower in the tarot deck, which is typically a very negative card and indicates shit hitting the fan. That is not what we're talking about when we're talking about the Lenormand. Two different divination systems. So in order for the Lenormand, you have rider, clover, ship, house, tree, clouds, snake, coffin, bouquet, scythe, whip, birds, child, fox, bear, stars, stork, dog, tower, garden, mountain, crossroads, mice, heart, ring, book, letter, man, woman, lily or lilies, sun, moon, key, fish, anchor, and cross. So, and that is the Lenormand. So that is always going to be the order of a Lenormand deck. And sometimes you will have slight rephrasing. So like the letter card in one deck might be the envelope in another deck, but it is still the letter card. Yeah, letter number 27. Sometimes I've seen that as like envelope. And for 28 and 29, man and woman, that usually is very literal and indicative of the sitter or the querent or the client. So if the man or the woman card comes up in a Lenormand reading, it's usually like, it's either the person that's sitting there if they identify as a woman, or the person's love interest if they are a heterosexual couple. And you can even get Lenormand decks in which there are two men and two women in order to be able to read for same-sex couples, which I think is pretty groovy. And you can also create your own Lenormand deck as well by just writing down these 36 letters or 36 words on index cards, shuffling them up, you've got yourself a Lenormand deck. So it's very accessible. So Katie says, so does this have the order? Does this have the order have the growth that Tarot Major Arcana has, or the order has no meaning? It's just numbered cards. I think it's the second. I'm really not certain about what the order signifies, but I know that it doesn't have that kind of hero's progression or fool's journey that the major arcana cards in the tarot have. At least that's from my perspective. I mean, I knew tarot first, so I cannot say that for sure, but that's an excellent question. And you may want to do your own research to see if there is a reason why the Lenormand is ordered in that way. But every Lenormand deck that I've seen, that's the order. I don't know if there is a significance to it, but I haven't personally seen that progression, only because of how Lenormand is read. It's read in a sentence. You can't pull one Lenormand card as your like card of the day, really, because it doesn't really tell you anything. It's just the object, you know. So you need the other cards in the Lenormand to be able to form the sentence. It's just like if you pull the whip, okay, what am I doing repeatedly? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing repeatedly. All I know is I'm doing something repeatedly today. So then you would need to pull more cards to get the noun or the verb. You know, get the noun to that verb. What am I going to be doing repeatedly? And then you get book. Well, maybe I have a lot of reading ahead of me today. So you see why one card for Lenormand is not enough. You usually need 2 or 3 cards to be able to give yourself the context of, oh, okay, this is the sentence. This is the divinatory sentence. Does that make sense to everybody? That's a good question, though, Katie. And also, I do want to say some of the Lenormand decks do have playing card associations, like inserts, squares within the cards. I don't have an example of that to hand right now, but let me see if I can pull up one of those to show you, because I have in my hand my first Lenormand deck that I really love, and they are tiny. This is Kendra's Vintage Petite Lenormand, and they are small. So my hands are small, by the way. That's their size. And the reason why the cards are going to be smaller is because there is a concept in the Lenormand called the Grand Tableau, which you use all 36 cards to do a reading. And that seems to be very intimidating, but also very, very interesting to me, because it's not like you're reading all 36 cards all at once. It's more like you're asking what your life's going to be like within the next 3 months, for example. And so you shuffle up and then you deal out all 36 cards. I think it's a 9. I think it's a 9 across and down, and then you have the last 4 on the bottom. And then all you're doing is like you're looking for the different cards to be able to tell you about different aspects in your life. So, for example, in the Grand Tableau, if you're wondering how your love life is going to be, if you identify as a woman, you might look for the woman card and the man card if you happen to be heterosexual, or you might deal for a same-sex person or a same-sex couple, deal 2 women cards or 2 men cards, and then look and see where those fall in the Grand Tableau to inform what that relationship's going to be within that 3-month period. Or you can look for the heart card and see what cards are surrounding the heart card. If you want to know about finances, you would look for the fish. So Grand Tableau, very, very interesting. Can seem very intimidating, but also you're not reading all 36 cards at the same time. You're reading them in lines or in squares. Good question. So Sophia asks, do the keywords change based on the pairing, or is it more like a sentence where the individual words are what they mean, but in the sentence they play off of each other? I think it's a combination of the two, but also you don't want to add on too many keywords, because then you almost get yourself into your tarot brain when you start to do that, and then it becomes more than the question that you asked. I'm going to bring it back to the question, right? So let's do a for example with these cards. So is there memorization involved in Lenormand? Kind of, yeah. But you also don't want to really, you want to kind of pick 5 keywords to go along with each of the 36 cards. And then based on the context, you're kind of switching around to make sense of the question that you asked, because you're not trying to get the answer that you want. You're trying to get the answer that you need. And you're always going back to what was the question that you asked. You know, so if you're asking about love life, and this is another example that I think V uses in the episode that just dropped today. If you're asking about love life and the bear comes up, the bear card can mean long-term finances or big finances. But if you're asking about love life, that could be a description of the person that you might be asking about, or potential partner that might be a big teddy bear or large or tall. So it can be working out what the sentence is, and those are the adjectives or the adverbs for that sentence. Yes, yeah, more like multiple choice. So let's do a for example. So I'm going to shuffle up my little vintage Petite Lenormand. And like this, for example, see, this is number 27, but it's called postcard. Now that's the letter card. And sometimes I've seen it as the envelope as well. So this is still the letter card. And notice how like it's pretty and everything, but it's the letter card. It's postcard, and that's it. You know, no matter what symbols are on this, like this is not the flowers, this is not the bouquet, this is the cross. So remembering that this is the cross. Okay. Actually, something that's really can be fun is activating these cards or looking for specific cards to get to maybe a yes or no. I'll talk about that in a second. So let's do. How is my day going to be tomorrow? What am I going to be experiencing tomorrow? I don't like this reading. Yeah, I really don't like this reading. This is gonna be aggravating. Okay, so the reason why I'm not happy with this reading, but also it makes a lot of sense, is I'm volunteering tomorrow at a vaccination site, and so I kind of know what my day is going to look like. But also, it's kind of giving me a heads up as what I might be dealing with, right? So the first card I got was child. The next card I got was stork. The next card is mice. And I pulled 5. Then I got lady, which could be me in the situation or women that I'm dealing with tomorrow. And then I got tree. Now, tree can be about health. So in this context, it makes a lot of sense because I am volunteering not at a hospital, but on behalf of a hospital. So the tree card makes a lot of sense to me. But this combination tells me that it's going to be a very aggravating day tomorrow with a lot of children, because you got child and stork, a lot of children, young people, perhaps even babies. You've got mice. Mice can be annoying, taking away energy, nibbling away. And lady could be either me or other women that I'm interacting with tomorrow. So I would entirely be unsurprised if there are a lot of people coming to that facility with a lot of children and groups of children. And also the next card in the reading is book. I have planned on bringing a book with me to read in case it was slow or quiet. Yeah, thank you, Katie. Katie says, young children or adults acting like children, sympathies. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's a quick example of reading Lenormand and how it would be different to tarot. Like if I was reading it and I just got child and that's all the card I pulled, and it's just like, okay, kid, like what is that telling me? It's not telling me much. But then with stork, mice, lady, it just it just feels like more of a description, more information, basically. But one of the tips in reading Lenormand is going back to the question. What was my question about? Like I could have gotten the child card and the stork card, and I could have been in my tarot brain and saying, oh, well, does that mean that I'm pregnant? Does that mean this? Oh, well, somebody's pregnant. Somebody's pregnant. And it's just like, no. What was the question that you asked? You asked, how is my day going to go tomorrow? What am I going to be looking like? What is my day looking like tomorrow? So you see how the question would be very, very important to continue to go back to. Otherwise, you're spinning out of control. And the tarot, like that's your tarot brain. So we want to always wheel back from your tarot brain, because you're not reading tarot, you're reading Lenormand, and get back to the question. And then you'll see, sometimes we overcomplicate, especially if you're used to being in your tarot brain and getting a lot of information out of one card. Does anyone want to give me another example? Another question that I can ask to show you, or was that enough of an example? And this is the reason why some of the Lenormand decks are very, very small, because you need these cards to be small in case you are going to do a grand tableau and have all 36 cards laid out. The smaller the Lenormand, the easier that you can do the grand tableau. Ooh, okay, Katie. I'm hoping. Oh, Andrea is here. When did you sneak in, Andrea? And Andrea is very familiar. So Katie, I'm going to read on that in a second. So Andrea says, when will my dreamboat find me? So Andrea is very familiar with these little cards because my clients often will say, did you bring the little cards with you? Little cards, little cards. It's just because they're not little. I mean, they are little, but they are Lenormand. They're different to tarot. So you're back? Are you back from... Oh yeah, you went away this week. Well, I hope your trip was good, right? Okay, so Katie is asking, will I have issues with my car repairs? Can't get my verbs right. No, that's okay. Don't worry, my brain read it right. Will I have issues with my car repairs? I don't think so. So you're getting the house, you're getting the path, you're getting the cross, which can be a burden. Then clover, then mirror. So sometimes different Lenormand decks will have additional cards. This one is the mirror. And honestly, Lenormand can be quite literal sometimes. So you might need to adjust your mirror. I know this sounds crazy, but there might be something up with your mirrors or the mechanism for your side mirrors or whatever, where you have to adjust them manually, or they haven't been working. You know, something regarding your mirrors. So be on the lookout for that. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But you've got house, which is usually a stable kind of card. You've got path as well, then cross. I don't know. Have you been told before that you need to get a new car, or has that kind of been an issue with your car repairs, where it's just like, is it going to cost more to repair your car than to replace your car? I'm only saying that because it's the path card, and that's like the crossroads card, number 22. So it's like kind of that forking energy. So I don't know if it's necessarily the... Oh, okay. Have to get it repaired because I got bumped last Tuesday evening. Were the mirrors involved? Just tell me whether or not the mirrors are involved, because I'm gonna run around screaming and get creeped out. Ah, that Tuesday thing. Okay. No, but you gotta tell me, did like your mirror get smacked off or something? Because then I'll be weirded out. Anyway. Andrea says, love some forking energy. Yep. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. I think it's going to be okay. Okay. I think it's going to be okay. And I don't know what's going on with your mechanic, but I think your mechanic is very loyal and very trustworthy. So I think it's going to be okay. And if I'm wrong, I don't want to know. I kid a little bit about that. Just let me know what happens. more for illustrative purposes than anything else. So can you see how Lenormand is very different to the tarot in the energy, in the way you would read it? You absolutely need more than one card to read Lenormand. I mean, people might disagree with me on that, but honestly, like, if you get the stars card, you know, for a card of the day, and she's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, what plans do I need to make? Lily, you know, like, what does that mean? So you have to have the context of some of the other cards in order to really make sense of it and make the sentence. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't think there's any problem there, Katie. All right. Any other, not questions for the Lenormand, but any questions on the Lenormand? Because I'm about to give you some different resources. Tom Benjamin would fight that tarot needs more than one card too. I don't know. Card of the day, I think, is a really great practice because you can get a lot of information out of one card in a tarot deck. But Lenormand, it's just like it's a different divination system, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and take down the list of the Dirty 36 and put back up my overlay. So some resources. Oh, there we go. I'm going to drop some of these resources into the chat and display them as well. So, all right, there we go. So, of course, we have V from Red Light Reading, and that is her website right there. You can go ahead and click on it. Not now. Wait until the end of the broadcast. But V is our special guest host for this week's episode of Cardslingers Coast to Coast. And so she is divilingual. That's her terminology. So she will use both tarot and Lenormand, and she also teaches Lenormand as well. Very good resource to learn about the Dirty 36. The next resource I would recommend is someone that I learned Lenormand from in an online chorus. And that is Melissa Jo Hill, the Sassy Sybil. So that website is there, specifically tailored for Lenormand. And I found her teaching to be especially up my alley, especially when I wanted to get out of my own way and not, you know, go into my whole tarot brain. Well, the clouds, the ship, this, that, like, oh, well, you know, who's the dog? And yeah, sometimes I would just spin out and have my own tarot brain. And I feel like Melissa's work really helps me to get back into the language, the verbiage, and how this divination system works that is very different to the tarot. Highly recommend her as well. I'm not going to give all the resources, but I have the comprehensive list is at the show notes for the Cardslingers website, the Dirty 36. So I'll drop that link before the end of the broadcast again. So let me make sure that I mention Rana, though. So Rana George's book, The Essential Lenormand, was probably the biggest influence on my learning Lenormand. I'm going to display her website, but Rana's book is called The Essential Lenormand, Your Guide to Precise and Practical Fortune Telling. It has basically almost all of the symbols, I think, of the Lenormand on the cover, and it's pretty. It's a pretty cover, and then it has like almost the key of the Lenormand, surrounding the cover. So it's like this beautiful gold filigree key on that cover. So very recognizable. And she also has her own Lenormand deck as well. Let's see. Oh, did we not put Donna Lay in? All right, let's drop one more in here. Donna Lay de la Rose also has really great Lenormand lessons on her website as well. So I'll display that here. Lots and lots of resources to learn Lenormand if you're interested in this divination system. Again, I am no expert on Lenormand. I know just enough, again, kind of like astrology, to be dangerous, and enough to use this with my clients. But as always, tarot is definitely my main squeeze and what I use the most. I'll use tarot, Lenormand, and then an oracle card, usually in that order during a reading. All right, everybody, any more questions about Lenormand? Oh, one more thing. I forgot. Sorry. I wanted to mention a little bit about activating cards because this is how I use probably Lenormand the most, and it makes sense to me, and it's almost like very immediate, where I kind of work with the cards, and basically I'm like asking the cards, please give me a clear answer. And I'm always doing that really with tarot, where it's just like, well, Hierophant during a romance reading, what the hell does that mean? But that's kind of what I'm like with Lenormand. It's just like, please be clear. Please be clear. Please give me a clear answer so that I don't have to translate a million different things in a million different ways for my client. Like, just let's make it very clear. So what I will do is if there's options between something, I will assign a card to that option, where it's just like, oh, well, if you want... if it's a good financial choice, let's search for the fish card. If the fish card comes up, that's kind of like a yes. And like, we'll look at the surrounding cards to see what else is going on there. Or if the trip is a good idea, let's shuffle up. And if the ship card comes up, that's a yes, that's a good idea. Or we can... sometimes I've done this in searching for documents, for jewelry. Sometimes I've used this to search for a pendulum. Because, so of course I'm missing one divination system, so I'm using another different divination system to find the other divination system. So I've done that before, where if my mother once was missing some documents or couldn't find where she put some documents, I went ahead and I activated either the book or the letter card, whichever one it was. And so I activated that card, and then I shuffled, and then I looked through the deck to find the letter card and the two cards before it and the two cards after it to give and described where the documents were located. And she found them within an hour of getting off the phone with me. And so she called me brilliant, and I'm just like, I'm not brilliant. Lenormand is brilliant. I've used it to locate a necklace that I could not find. I activated the snake card, which is definitely not what the snake card means usually. But if you are, actively and intentionally saying, this is my placeholder for this, because I used the snake card because that's kind of what my necklace looked like. It's, got that S pattern to it. If you use it like that, sometimes you're able to locate objects with the Lenormand. Does that make sense to everybody? And does that sound intriguing? I think Donna Lay has an article about that on her website. But I've done it before and it works. So some of the different cards, we don't have time to go into the different meanings of each individual card, but like I'm flipping through my Lenormand deck right now and I'm like looking. So what does the key do? It unlocks something. Anchor is staying put or steady. Path, we had that come up before. Scythe is something that's cutting away. Coffin is something confined or ending. Garden is usually about sociability and gatherings. Birds can be about chatter or gossip. Can go either way sometimes, or it can be identifying or describing a person, what their personality is, what their appearance might be. Fish is usually associated with money, but also there are different schools of thought in Lenormand. There are some readers that read it. I think there's the French style, or there's a Germanic style as well. And so sometimes different readers will associate different cards with different things. And I would say if you're doing that, no matter what deck you're using, keep your associations the same. Don't mix up your associations. If you consider fish to be your money card, then it's always going to be your money card. Don't mix. If you consider whip or broom to be your sex card, then you stick with that. You stick with that meaning as one of the keywords. Some people use lilies as their sex card, but don't mix. Don't switch from whip to lilies to whip, because then you're just going to end up confusing yourself, and then you're just going to be like, Lenormand doesn't work for me. No, sweetheart. Lenormand works. You just need to keep it simple. Child is usually indicative of a younger person, children. Mountain can be an obstacle or a literal mountain. Let's see. Sun is actually, I think, pretty similar to the sun card in the tarot. Moon can be about fame. It could also be about beauty or appearance. Ring can be an actual ring or commitment. If you happen to lose a ring, guys, and you need to activate to look for the lost item, activate the ring card if you've lost a ring. And then look and see the surrounding cards and see if you can locate it. Like, for example, if you have coffin ring blank, it doesn't necessarily literally mean that your ring is in a coffin. No, it could mean that your ring is in an enclosed space, like a box, or a drawer even. Book, pretty literal, book or paperwork sometimes too. Clover is usually good luck. Can sometimes be money as well. Again, be clear about your associations, don't mix. Snake can be sometimes deceptive. It's very similar to the Seven of Swords, I would say. I get that energy. Snake is usually read negatively. Deception. Tower can be institutions or schools. See, number 8 in this deck is grave, not coffin, but same thing. Clouds is almost like foggy, or like that ask again later kind of energy that I can sometimes get with tarot when I start pulling all the big baddie cards, and it's not like they mean it literally. It's just kind of like a stop asking kind of indication. But clouds can mean that something is obscured, something's foggy, not quite clear, hazy. heart, love, looking for where this is in the grand tableau will tell you what's going on romance-wise. Bouquet can be a gift or a surprise, or or literally flowers, but it's usually like a gift, sweetness. Rider is usually the start of a situation. It's also the start of the Lenormand. So there's a ship card in here too. So ship to me has an association with the Six of Swords, which is transition, but also that's a ship as well. Can be about travel. So yeah. So Katie says, very intriguing. Oh yeah, and by the way, these are not read as reversals. I mean, there is someone I know that does read Lenormand with reversals, but typically you don't read Lenormand with reversals. Let me show you an example of a Lenormand deck that has the playing card insert to them, just to give you an example of that before we wrap up and go into the weekend forecast, okay? Let's see. Okay. Here's an example off of Donna Lay's website. Go ahead and upload this. Ooh. There we go. You don't need to see my face for this. So do you notice how you have that insert, and sometimes it's in the top middle of the deck, and sometimes it is in the top right or the top left, but you can see what the associated playing card would be. And so this is something that I like to point out, especially when you're in a pinch and you don't have your tarot deck with you or a Lenormand deck with you. Sometimes you can pinch hit using playing cards. There are some playing card readers that would absolutely 100% disagree with me. And to them, I say, hey, in a pinch, I think you can do it. But there are, I'm sure, different rules that are associated with using playing cards for divination as well. So like in there, the number 2, I think the clover would be associated with the 6 of diamonds. The tree card would be number 5, would be associated with the 7 of hearts. So the bouquet looks like it's associated with the Jack of Spades or the Queen of Spades. I'm not sure. When I've read Lenormand before, I have never really needed to know the playing card inserts. So you would have to ask a true Lenormand expert what the playing card inserts mean. All right, I think that's it. I've got a lot of resources for Lenormand stuff, and again, some of those resources are on our show notes for episode 36, the Dirty 36. So I'm going to go ahead and share that link one more time again into the comments, so you have it. And you can also listen to the episode at that link as well. Or you can listen to the episode wherever you get your podcasts. So cardslingerscc.podbean.com. You can go to the main site, which is that, or you can go straight to that episode. I can't believe we're already on episode 36. That's crazy. All right. I'm going to put the countdown timer again. I'm going to hydrate a little bit, and then we are going to move into the weekend forecast. So I am feeling pulled or compelled to use the Accurate AF tarot to pull one card from here for the weekend forecast, but I can be persuaded to pull from an oracle deck. So you tell me in the comments. I will give you a minute to decide whether you want tarot or you want an oracle, and we will see what we see. Oh, so Katie is saying, exciting that you were up to episode 36. And I thoroughly enjoy your podcast. Thank you very much, Katie. Clearly, we enjoy ourselves. I think we start this week's episode just me laughing, and I can't even remember why I was hysterically laughing. I think I was making faces on the Zoom call. And that's how we record our podcast, so that we have the visual to see each other, because I mean, it is coast to coast. And I think I was just pulling faces, and we were just all over the place starting the episode. It's just like, oh yeah, it's time to record the episode now. Time to get serious. Aw, thank you, Andrea. Love me some Hilary. I love you too. All right, countdown's over. Are we ready? Are you compelled for tarot or for oracle? Speak now or forever hold your peace, and I will choose for you. So Katie puts her faith in me. I trust your intuition on card choices. Go with it. I say we do the Accurate AF. I'm just so behind lately. I haven't been doing my card of the day. I haven't even done my newsletter for this month yet, and it's already the 9th of the month. Yeah, I'm just all over the place. But I say let's get our asses back in gear and go with the Accurate AF. Now, I think this is the first edition of the Accurate AF Tarot, and I'm not sure if it's the second or the third edition that's out now. So it may look a little bit, this deck may look a little bit different if you happen to have the Accurate AF Tarot from Prism and Floor. And if you do have a deck that looks a little bit different, that's okay. I just happen to have the first edition, I think. Pretty sure this is the first edition. All right. Let's go with the weekend forecast. It's here for the weekend forecast. And just to let you guys know, this is one of the few circular decks that's on the market. There's the Mother Peace Tarot, which is probably the most popular and also kind of, I think, the first circular tarot deck. But that's what it looks like. And yes, it is circular, so it can be a little bit difficult to shuffle with, but I am an overhand shuffler anyway, so all I do is kind of do the same thing and just, make sure I catch with my thumb when I'm shuffling circular cards. So. What do we most need to know for this weekend? Since I already know how my Saturday is going to go from the Lenormand. Thanks a lot. Okay, I think they're ready. Wow. Okay. So this is a very interesting deck because it has, and again, if you have a different version of, or a different edition of this deck, you might not have the keywords on the circumference of the card. But when I read with this deck, I will usually look at the keyword that is at the topmost center and use that as kind of the focus keyword of the card and its meaning that I need to know about right now. But we have the Lovers card, which is really, really beautiful. But it came up to me like completely reversed, but on its center reversed. And the two keywords, one is a reversed keyword and one is an upright keyword. So I'm just going to kind of read both. So frustrations and attachments. So I'm going to show you how I saw it first. So see, frustrations and attachments. But this is the card as it's upright. Very pretty card. So I have, I think, an online version of the guidebook for this. Let me see if I can find it. If I don't find it right away, then it may not be meant to be. By the way, though, guys, I got my Pocket of Peers digital guidebook. That just came up. I'm not sure where I put it. But I literally searched guidebook and I saw the Pocket of Peers digital guidebook come up. So very interesting. Let me see. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I paid $1 for that. Where'd it go? No, I didn't actually. I freaking bought that. I don't know, guys. I don't know where I put it. I guess it's not meant to be that I tell you the stuff from the guidebook. I just need to go off of the cuff. Anyway, so frustrations and attachments and the Lovers reversed. So that's how I saw it first. So I'm going to go with frustrations and attachments. And also, I would say when the Lovers card comes up reversed, again, that concept of the crossroads or the path, that's kind of how I see the Lovers card in a reading. It's not always about sexy, sexy fun time. It's in the hero's journey or the fool's journey through the major arcana, the Lover's card is the first time he gets to choose where he's going. Up until that point, it's a linear path, and he's meeting different mentors or guides along the way. So the first person he meets is the magician. The next person he meets is the high priestess. The next person, the empress. The next person after that, the emperor. The next person, the hierophant. And then when you get to number 6, the Lovers, that's the first fork in the road for the fool, in which he has to choose. So when the Lover's card comes up reversed, I will often ask my client, what are you stalling on? Why do you feel like you can't make this decision right now? What is stopping you from making this decision? And why do you think you need more information to be able to make this decision? So that might be themes that are coming up a lot for you this weekend. And I would also add in there those 2 keywords of frustrations and attachments. Why are you frustrated right now? Why are you attached? Who are you attached to? Are those attachments causing you to stall on your choice for the fear of what that might mean, or what somebody else's reaction might be to how you're feeling, or what you're choosing, or what you're trying to choose? So there you go. That's your weekend forecast for this weekend, the Lover's card reversed from the Accurate AF Tarot. And I think it's kind of a perfect deck to be using after we talked about Lenormand, because Lenormand doesn't pull any punches. Neither does this tarot deck. It truly is well named, being accurate AF. I'm just thinking about a meme that came up in my Facebook memories, where I think it might be Cardi B, I think, where it's like my tarot deck's talking to me, and it's just like, I didn't hurt you. Did I stab you? No. So that's the kind of vibe this deck has with me sometimes. Did I hurt you? I didn't. Did I stab you? No. All right. So I want to remind everybody that we do this every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right where you're watching right now, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Either way is fine. I will stream to both. And we have all replays available right now. I've been doing this for almost 2 years in August. Oh boy. Okay. I'm sorry, Sophia. Lovers reversed. Well, I have a date tomorrow. Well, maybe it will go well, or maybe you'll know right away not to waste your time with that person. So you'll have to see. Sometimes, having a deal breaker happen right away, it gives you the gift of not having to expend that energy. Remember those 2 keywords, frustrations and attachments. Don't be attached. Don't be attached to the outcome. It's just if it's a date, if it's a first date, just go and have fun. If it's a third date, maybe what happens is supposed to happen. Oh gosh. You're saying what I've been thinking, LOL. I have a bad feeling, but I feel like I gotta go, at least go. Yeah, go, but do you have to stay? I'm not saying go on the date with the intention to sneak out to the bathroom and then run out of there. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes you gotta go to see what you need to see to make those decisions, right? Anyway, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the broadcast, Sophia. Come back on next Friday and tell us how your date went. You're part of the Tarot by Hilary Live community now. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you have to come and report back. Let us know. So Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to show our schedule, which I just prepared today. So you don't need to see my lovely face in there, but I can show it to you. Why not? Worked hard to make it. So last Friday we had no show because we already basically had our schedule together. Why did we have our schedule together? Because I didn't feel like broadcasting last month when Mercury was in retrograde. Was not feeling it. So all of the shows that we had scheduled last month have been moved to this month. And some additions have been added based on your requests and feedback. So we didn't have a scheduling episode this month because we didn't have to. So last week, no show. Tonight, we just talked about the Lenormand, the Dirty 36. Next Friday, we are talking about altars by popular demand and request. So you're going to want to tune in live for that if that's interesting to you. The Friday after that, the 23rd, we're talking about filming tarot spreads. Now, this was something that someone requested about basically filming overhead, which I will do my best to try and describe and show. And we're probably going to talk about some gear too, like this stuff here. That is my my swivel clamp light from Social Light. So we will be talking about some gear. Again, you don't have to do anything fancy or crazy. Your intentions and your energy is really what matters most, you know, and you don't have to go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment to do this. You really don't. And then the last Friday of July, we have Lunasa, which is part of the Sabbath series, which is part of some of the priestess training that I'm doing for my second year of priestess work. So we will be talking all about the Sabbath of Lunasa and talking about kind of the precursor to the Olympics almost, the Lunasa Games, in honor of the sun god Lu. So we're going to be talking about that, talking about what that Sabbath means, different rituals, different correlations, food, clothing, drink, colors, possible ritual ideas, all on July 30th. So again, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do see that some people are requesting readings, and you can totally book a reading with me. www.tarotbyhilary.com in order to book a reading with me. I am doing phone readings, Skype readings, and email readings. We are not up to the point where I'm seeing clients in person yet, if you happen to be in the local area to me, but I'm sure that soon will change, so stay tuned for that. So let me take away the crawler. Again, tarotbyhilary.com if you would like to book a reading. So thank you all so much for watching. And I hope to see you next Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we are talking about altars. Until then, love to work with you. If you would like a reading, tarotbyhilary.com. And once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Remember the weekend forecast of the Lover's card reversed, and take deep breaths and don't stall on your life decisions. And have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday.